Let's say you get an emergency call from your tenant. They're hysterical. Um, they're obviously very scared. And what do you do? How do you handle it? Well, the first thing you should do is remain calm and collect as much information as you can. Reassure the tenant while you're on the phone with them that there's no worries, this is going to be taken care of. You've got it. You've taken ownership of this. They want to know that it's in good hands and that you're going to take care of it. And hopefully that will help to calm them. And then you two can work together on kind of figuring out what's going on. So you're going to want to gather as much information from them as you can. No question is too small, right? What happened when the issue happened? What were you doing? What's currently going on? Obviously, if they tell you, hey, the basement's filled with water or smoke, the advice is you need to get out of there, and we'll be over ASAP. But if they say something like half the lights in the apartment are out, right? Well, we can work with this, okay? So when it becomes time to actually take the next steps, you've gathered what you feel is enough information. Now you can start working on the solution, right? Has the tenant checked the breaker? I can't tell you how many times the most simple solution is what it ends up being, and it's never done first, right? We're pulling light fixtures, we're testing wires, and it was just a trip breaker. So start off with the most simple solution first. Remain calm. Take a structured approach to it that's going to help your tenant feel at ease, and sort of walk through it, and hopefully your tenant's comfortable kind of walking through it. Of course, if it's a non-critical issue, hopefully they're comfortable kind of walking through it with you. You don't have heat. Okay, well, let's start at the thermostat, right? What's going on at the thermostat? Does it have the battery's dead? Do we need to reset it? Sometimes is it set to cool and it's not set to heat? I know these things sound crazy, but 90% of the time it's the most simple solution. And the tenants kind of freak out and they get nervous and they're scared. And it's your job to calm them down and kind of take a structured, calm approach to gathering as much information as you can and then starting off with the most simple solution first. I've had to send tenants videos from YouTube on how to reset a breaker. I've had tenants call me and say, my toilet's clogged. Have you plunged it? Well, I don't own a plunger. Okay, well, go out and buy a plunger first. Try plunging the toilet. I've sent them videos on how to properly plunge a toilet or a tub drain. So, these are all hurdles you're going to have to get over together. But don't immediately freak out and escalate the issue. Let's gather information first and see if we can solve it, because the vast majority of the time you can right over the phone. Rather than dispatching someone or heading out there yourself, you can just resolve this issue, right over the phone. And again, the tenants are going to report, all kinds of terrible things. And I can't tell you how many times it's boiled down to something really simple. And more often than not, it's boiled down to something that's not even a critical emergency. I saw a mouse. I'm not sending an exterminator over at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's unfortunate, but what do the lease terms say? Are the tenants responsible for it? Typically, again, it's always consult, local law. But where we're located, the tenants would be expected to try to resolve the issue on their own first. And if it became something that was beyond, their ability to resolve it, then we would escalate it. But by default, we would not expect that we would immediately dispatch someone to take care of mice, right? It could be one mouse. If they set a trap, that could be the end of it, and they never see one again. So slow down, be the calm party on the phone, assure them that they're in good hands, and then gather information. Walk through this process. You're going to see this thing is going to become very clear very quickly. And more often than not, you're going to get off the phone and laugh and say, boy, oh boy, that could have blown up into a really big issue. And all it was, some tiny thing that wasn't even critical.